Good morning or afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeremy Walsh, and I'm the Director of Support, Training, and Documentation for BNI Connect. I'd like to welcome everybody to the webinar today. So today's webinar is on the social media component or the social media side of BNI Connect. And this one's entitled Connecting with Other Members. So we're going to look at the different ways that we can use BNI Connect to really tap into the larger network that is BNI, as opposed to just the other members in your chapter. We do this through the connections, through testimonials, by joining the groups in BNI Connect as well. So we're going to touch upon all those things today. This is part 3 of a 5-part series. We do have a couple more webinars coming up for members in the next couple of days, if you'd be interested in those as well to follow up with this. Tomorrow, we are going to be talking about the member tools and reports. We're going to take a little bit of a deeper dive in the system and look at some of the other things you have access to in BNI Connect, especially digging up some stats about your chapter and making your membership more profitable. On Thursday is the final part in our series, Step 5, Inviting and Registering Visitors. So that one will help you to invite visitors and to register them, which means more visitors are going to show up at your meeting. So 2 more great webinars followed up after today. Before we get started with today's presentation, a couple of housekeeping things. First of all, this is a live webinar, so if you have any questions as we're going through the material today, please do feel free to ask those questions. The only silly question is the unasked question. The best way to ask questions is to please type your question in to the questions panel here in BNI Connect. We'll see that question pop up on the screen. We can then go ahead and answer that question for you. If it's something that's kind of totally unrelated to what we're talking about, we can answer those questions at the end of today's session. We're scheduled for approximately 30 minutes to go through the material today. That being said, I am always happy to stay on these calls until every single question has been answered. In addition, we'll be recording today's session as we record all of our webinars. You'll be able to find the recording in a couple of different places, the first of which is on our support site. You can either go to support.bniconnect.com or just click on the question mark in the upper right-hand corner here. That will take you over to the support site, and the very first thing you'll see there is our list of upcoming webinars and links to all the recordings. You can also go directly to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. All right, so let's dive in to today's webinar. Again, today's webinar has to do with connecting with other members. Now, one of the great things about BNI Connect is that it is a global system, and it is it's a closed door system only to other BNI members around the world. And to me, that's an amazing thing. I mean, I'm a member of all sorts of social networks out there. I'm a member of LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter and all of these other things, and they are very public systems. BNI Connect, on the other hand, is limited just to the other members of BNI. And right now, we're at about 195,000 active members around the world. So it's a very large community. When I first joined BNI, I am a member, by the way. I'm a member of a chapter here in the great state of Rhode Island. When I joined in 2002, the only thing I knew about BNI was my chapter. So the 22 or 23 people that I was meeting with every week, that was really all that I knew about BNI. And then I got elected to become on the leadership team, so I went to a regional training, and I got to meet a whole bunch of BNI people in my area. I said, wow, this is pretty cool. This is a bigger network. However, I went back to my office, and this is, again, back in 2002, way before BNI Connect came around, and I had no way to get in touch with any other member that I just met. I had the business cards and things like that, but there was no BNI Connect. So it was really hard to reach out to those new connections. I became a director consultant in 2004, and the same thing happened. I went to an international conference, and I was like, wow, they have BNI in the UK, in Germany, in Japan, in Canada, and all of these places around the world, yet I went back to my office and there was no way for me to get in touch with them. 2011, when BNI Connect came around, it was a game changer for BNI and a game changer for networkers around the world, because now we can reach out to all of these other people. Now, before I show you how to do that, it is very, very important that you take a couple of minutes and make sure that your profile is full and complete and filled out, because just as you're going to connect with other people are looking to connect with you. And if they come across an empty or a dead profile, they will just skip it and go right on to the next person. So now the way you can see what your profile looks like, so I'm here on the home screen in BNI Connect. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom, and at the bottom left-hand side, you'll see something that says Profile. It's right under the word Personal. So if I click Profile, this will take me to really what other people see when they see my profile. This is really the social media profile here within BNI Connect. Again, only to other members. Now, on the public websites, on your regional website and on bniamerica.com or whatever country you might be in, we share some information. We share the pictures. We share the My Business description. Things like that. But here in BNI Connect with other BNI members, we share or have the option to share more information. So for example, you have all the different roles that I hold in BNI. You have my Business description, in which you can put a video, by the way. The keywords that I'm using to supplement my profile. You have my company and my company logo. It has all my contact information, my address. Now what you'll also see is that there's all these other tabs along the top, and I am also sharing things like my gains profile and my weekly presentations, which also could have a video in it as well, and my tops profile. But wait, there's more. We can see the other people that you're connected with. Just a quick question. Rosa came up with a comment. She said, I'm not seeing anything, but I can hear things. Is everybody else able to see things as well? Or is there a video issue going on? I'm checking out the audience view portion, and it looks like it's coming through okay. Rosa, what you may want to do is to just disconnect from the webinar and then reconnect to it again. Yeah, we're getting comments. Sandy, Terry, Ruth, Sharon, Steve, they're all saying that they can see okay. So you may want to just disconnect, close out of the webinar, and just click on the link to come right back in. All right. Sorry about that, Rosa. You can always check out the recording afterwards if you're unable to get reconnected to it. All right, so sorry for that, guys, but you can also see, very similar to LinkedIn, we can see other people's connections, and you can click through to any of those profiles and connect with them as well. Testimonials. People can leave you testimonials that will display on your profile. There is a photo sharing library on your profile as well, where you can share anything from funny things to professional headshots to, even if you wanted to, share things like testimonials from clients. As long as you can save it as a PNG file or a JPEG, you can upload it into your profile. You can see what groups people are participating in. And finally, you can see training history. So this is all credibility building information right when somebody's looking at becoming a connection with you. So I'm not going to spend really a lot of time on this. Just keep in mind that this is all updated. If you're on this page, click on Update Profile, My BNI page, or if you're back on the home screen, right up here at the top, there's another link that says Update Profile, or if you're anywhere else in the system, there's always a couple of different ways to get there. Go to Options, My Account. All three of those links will take you to the exact same place, and that's the back end of your profile so that you can go in and make any updates. Really, just go through the tabs, and you can update any of the information on there, update your username and your profile pictures and any of your contact details. Now, when you're on the member-to-member page, really important here, what we just saw of our profile, we can choose which pieces of that we're going to share with people. We can choose whether or not we're going to share our bio tab, our connections, our testimonials, our picture gallery, whether or not we're going to show our email address, and whether or not you're going to show your contact details. Now, by default, a lot of these will be set to My Connections, meaning that in order to in order to share any of that information, you would have to be connected with them. And a lot of times when people are looking for your contact information, oh, hold on a second. Rosa is having another issue. Let's see if I can help with that. Sorry, Rosa. Let me see if I can. Let's see if you can just come and reconnect. All right. So again, sorry about that. A lot of time when people are doing a search for you in BNI Connect and they're trying to find you, they are going to see your profile, but unless you're sharing, for example, your contact details, they won't know how to get in touch with you until you go ahead and accept their connection requests and everything else. And most people aren't going to wait that long. So my recommendation is you turn almost all of this information to all. The only one I would be really hesitant of is your email address. If you don't want to share your email address right away, switch that over to My Connections or to none if you never want to share it. But this will control what other members see when they're logged in and they find you in BNI Connect. All right, the rest of it, just fill out the various other things on your profile, the training history. If anything's missing, you can go ahead and talk to your regional office and they can update that for you. And Rosa just put in, yay, it's working now. Excellent. Good to have you back, Rosa. All right. The only thing that's not in here is that picture gallery. To update stuff in your picture gallery, click on Network Picture Gallery, and that will take you to the place where you can upload all of the things into that picture gallery. All right, so let's go back to the home screen. Now that we have our profile all filled out, now we need to know, how do we find other people around the world? And we do that a couple of different ways. We can go to the My Network tab. The My Network tab, which is right under the My Business tab, it's kind of like a second home page here. So if I go down to the My Network tab, you'll see these are really all of the social media components here in BNI Connect. We have our connections. Now connections is really, it's your personal address book for BNI. It's all of the people that you've met in BNI and may want to stay in contact with. You'll start out by being automatically connected with all of the people in your chapter. So nobody starts out alone. You will be connected to the 20, 30, 40, 50 other people in your chapter. Those ones are automatically maintained. So as people join your chapter, they'll be automatically added. When they leave the chapter, they'll be automatically removed. The groups functionality, that's our discussion groups. That's where we can talk and have conversations with other members worldwide. The documents here in the upper right-hand quadrant is going to be documents that your regional office is sharing with you. So it could be things like the visitor sign-in sheet or the member's first experience or the control letters for the vice president. Whatever it is that your region wants to share with you, you'll find it in the documents portal. The testimonials are testimonials that you can give to other people and people have given to you. Events are going to be any regional events that you may want to attend, such as member success programs or advanced trainings. That's the same list that you'll find on your regional website. This is just in a list format. And finally, there is an internal messaging system where you can send internal messages back and forth between the people that you're connected with. Now, to get connected to somebody, what you can do is click on Add here under Connections. Or the other way to do it is I can just click from any screen in BNI, click on this magnifying glass, add, and this magnifying glass will take you to the exact same place, and that is the BNI Global Directory. And this is kind of the white pages, so to speak, for BNI globally. So every single member, all 195,000 members around the world currently, have a profile and can be found using this search. So for example, the easiest way to search for somebody is if you happen to know their name. So feel free to search for me. My name is Jeremy Walsh. I'm going to search for myself. And I came back with 2 results, so Jeremy and Jeremy Walsh III. So this is actually one of my little test profiles that I have up in Antarctica. And just to show you what you look like if you haven't filled out your profile, this is Jeremy Walsh III. We can see that he's from BNI Connect support here, but hasn't really shared any bit of information. So now if somebody comes across and let's say they're looking for, insert your profession here. Let's say you're an auto mechanic in Austin and they're looking for an auto mechanic in Austin and they come up with a profile like this. Do you think that they're going to connect with you? Do you think they're going to want to utilize your services? Probably not. So make sure that your profile is filled out. So that being said, if you wanted to connect with somebody, let's say Jeremy Walsh III here, I would click on Add Jeremy to my connections, and this would allow me to customize a message. And once I click Submit, that will send that message to the other me, and it would give me an opportunity to accept that connection request or to decline that connection request. Very similar to LinkedIn and very similar to Facebook. It is an opt-in connection. Now, of course, that search, notice this opened up in a new window so I can then close this and not lose my search results. This does work for professions and things like that as well. So I could look for, let's say, a auto repair in Austin and see if there's any auto repair in Austin. Yeah, let's see what we have here. We have automotive repair in Austin, Texas. Let's see, Billy Leavings and a whole bunch of people. I could click on them. And he does have his logo up here, but unfortunately Brad doesn't have a phone number to call him, but you get the general idea. We can go through the people that we'd like to connect with. We can find them. I personally use this anytime I need somebody's services outside of my own chapter. So for example, I have clients in multiple states. So even though I'm here in Rhode Island, I have a client that has an office in Virginia and an office in Florida. So while we do what we can to help them from here in Rhode Island, it's not very cost effective to fly down to Virginia or to Florida every time something goes wrong. So what we do is, if we can't help them out remotely, we call somebody in Florida or Virginia. So when I had a server crash at the Virginia office, I looked for a IT consulting in Virginia. And by doing this, I was able to find somebody that I could send in to that place in Virginia. Now, you can also use the advanced search. So let's say that didn't return appropriate results. I could always look for people in the, for example, information technology services and make sure that I put in Virginia and click search members. And this should bring me back a better set of results, just people in information technology in the state of Virginia. Now, once you start connecting with people or you start sending out connection requests, you find people that you need, if you go back to the My Network, you can go in and take a look at your connections. So I can always go to Connections and click on Manage. I could also, from anywhere else in the system, go to the menus up here along the top and go to Network Connections. Both things will take you to the same place. Now, once we get into the Connections interface, what we'll see here is our list of connections. So here on the left-hand side is just a text list that I could scroll through and look at any of my connections and click on them, or I can look through their actual photos here on the right-hand side. And if I click on them, this will take me to a abbreviated version of their profile. So I can see things, their address, their email. Again, it's like a contact card. It also gives me some options down here. I could send Barty a message that sends him an internal message. To send him a real email, I could just click on his email address up here. I could ask him for a testimonial. I could give him a testimonial. I can go and view his full profile so I could read his bio and all of that stuff. Or I can remove him from my connections. Keep in mind that only people that are not in your chapter can you remove them from your connections. For example, Mike Paolino here is the financial advisor in my chapter. I don't have the option to remove him from my connections. Now, when people start sending you connection requests, you do have to opt into those connections. So you have to click on Received Requests down here at the bottom, and you'll see the people that have sent you a connection request. Now, you can go ahead and For example, click on, if they sent you a message, you can click on read message, see if they sent you a custom message. At this point, I can choose to accept it or ignore it or reject it. If you have a whole bunch of people that have requested connections, you can just do select all and choose connect to selected. You can also click on their headshot here or on their name, and that will take you to their profile so you can make sure that you're connecting with the right person. All right, now these two people will be added to my all connections, so that should go up to 535 now. And again, I can go through and utilize any of those pieces of contact information. Now, giving testimonials, if you want to give somebody a testimonial, giving testimonials is done through your connections. So you can only give testimonials to people that you are connected with. And the way to do that is go into their connection profile here and click on give that person a testimonial. It's just a very quick type out the paragraph and you're able to give them that testimonial. That testimonial will then appear on their profile. The other important thing about testimonials is that you can only give one testimonial per person. So we don't want to flood the same person with multiple testimonials. If you do need to update it or remove it, you do need to ask them to review and remove that testimonial. Now you can check out all of your testimonials by clicking on the testimonials button here in connections, or go to network testimonials, or back on the home screen, click on the manage button under testimonials. This will take you into the testimonials functionality, and it looks very much like the connections. We're going to see our list of testimonials received here on the left-hand side. So we could click on any of the names of people that gave us the testimonial. We could read those, review them. We can also choose whether or not we want it to display on our profile. So we could hide it, which would mean that they couldn't give us another testimonial. It's just hidden. Or we can actually delete the testimonial, which would give them the opportunity to give us a new testimonial if they wanted to. We can also review all of the testimonials that we've given to other people. And finally, if people have requested a testimonial of you, you can respond to it in the testimonial requests. All right, Sharon had a quick question. Sharon asked, when I get search results, is it listed alphabetically or logistically or by rating? So they're done alphabetically, but it's broken into two categories. You're going to get the exact results, meaning that the search string was exactly matched. Now keep in mind, this is not a Google search, so we don't have all the fancy algorithms and the predictive guessing at what you might have been searching for. It's more of a one-to-one database search. So if it's an exact result, it means that it found however many terms you put in there, it found it exactly somewhere in the record. Then it will start to give you probable inexact matches. So there is a ranking system based on that, but largely it's going to be how many other matches did you have, though not all of the matches. So does that make sense? Does that help, Sharon? All right. So that's the connections and the testimonials. We have about 5 minutes left in today's session. The other thing that I want to show you guys is the connections. I'm sorry, the the groups interface. The groups interface is really where we can start to dig a little bit deeper into the network. So the connections, that's what I use to find people, to connect with them, to even, pass them business. I can't really give them necessarily a referral, especially if they're in Germany or something like that, but I can still contact them and give them the business and converse with them. The groups functionality, however, is where we start to turn this into a global network where you can have conversations with other people around the world. So if I go into the groups here and click on Manage, I'll see all of the different groups. Now, right now, there are 504 active groups in BNI Connect. That is a whole lot of conversations going on between thousands and thousands of members around the world. The good thing about the groups in BNI Connect is that, well, there's a couple of good things. Number one, they are private to BNI members. So you have to be an active participating member of BNI in order to be involved in these conversations. So that means that we're all of the same mindset. We're all going to weekly meetings. We're all following the same philosophy of givers gain. So there's much, much less spam and much, much less direct selling than there are in a lot of those other, Yahoo and LinkedIn and all of these other groups that are out there. So the second really great thing about it is that they have to remain active. So if the conversation goes dead for 90 days, everybody in the group gets a warning saying, hey, there has been no activity in this group. If you want to continue this group, please make sure to keep the conversation going. And if nobody partakes in that conversation, then that group is actually deleted out of the system and no longer available. So that keeps our list of groups nice and fresh and always talking about something. So this is a great idea to go through and look at the groups. Now you can go through just page by page by page, and I think there's about 5 groups per page. So you can go through all 101 pages one by one and take a look at all the different groups. If you find one that interests you, for example, we have one here, Grow Your Business. We have one, BNI Lawyers. So this one has a couple of hundred lawyer participants in it. And we can see we have lawyers in Kenya, lawyers in India, lawyers in Sri Lanka. So they're building their network of lawyers globally just using these discussion groups. And you can look through and take a look at any of the discussion topics here. And you can see what they're talking about. And I can see exactly what they're doing. This group is really, they're building a network of lawyers. So if anybody has a referral for anybody anywhere, they can pass that referral to anybody around the world, really. Let's see, JP just asked, is there a certain number of members required to create a group? And the answer to that, and I'm going to get to that in just a second, is no. You can create up to 7 of your own groups. So when you find groups that you like, you can just join them. And that means that you'll start getting the notifications about the groups and you can participate in the conversation. But if you'd like to create your own group, you can do that. Just click on Add Group up here at the top. And this allows you to create your own groups. You just need to give the group a name. You're going to choose what type of access and what type of group. Now, an invite-only group or an open group means anybody can jump in, join that group. It's going to show up in the searches, all of that. An invite-only group means that you are the master of that group and nobody can join the group without you explicitly inviting them to the group and accepting their invitation. A members can invite is kind of the hybrid between those two. So you can invite your friends and your friends can invite their friends to the group. Give the group a description. Notice it does not do translations. It just lets people know what language it is. And then it also lists all of your connections and you can immediately invite any of your connections to join that group. All right, does that answer your question, JP? All right, now I jumped a little bit out of order there, but if you are looking for groups, and before you start your own group, by the way, I do recommend looking for other groups that are out there. It's hard to keep a group going. You have to be constantly posting, you have to be monitoring it. It can be frustrating when getting people to join the group and getting your connections to respond and things like that. But there are, as I said, like 500 already established groups. You can search based on keywords and creator. For example, Dr. Meisner has a couple of groups that he created. So if I do a search for Meisner, I can see, he has the From the Founder group and the Why BNI groups that are both public groups. And then there's also the BNI Foundation group. So I do urge you to go and join those particular groups, and that will allow you to have a conversation. And looking at, for example, this From the Founder group, there's 3,468 participants. And I can click on participants here and go, and if I'm having a conversation with somebody and I see somebody that I really want to get to know better, I can click on their profile right from the list of participants, go to their profile and send them a connection request if I'd like to as well. So it really is a great way to really dig deeper into BNI Connect and to make some connections and have conversations with people around the BNI world. All right, on that note, we are at the bottom of the hour. I do want to be respectful of everybody's time today. If you do have to get off to another appointment, return any phone calls, feel free to do so. What I'd like to do is to open this up to questions, though. If you can or want to hang out a little bit longer, I am happy to stay on this call until all questions are answered. You can talk about anything that we talked about today or anything at all in BNI Connect. Feel free to ask those questions. Happy to answer anything at all about BNI Connect. While you're coming up with any questions, just a reminder, this is part of a 5-part series. Click on the question mark in the upper right-hand corner of BNI Connect. That will take you to the support page. The very first part of the support page says, upcoming webinars, register now. Our very next webinar, we just finished this one, connecting with other members. Step 4, member tools and reports. That's going to be tomorrow at this very same time, same bat channel. 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. We're going to talk about the member tools and reports, and then we're going to round this series off on Thursday with inviting and registering visitors. Love it if you could join us for inviting and registering visitors. That's a very powerful one as well. We do have a couple of other leadership team-based reports towards the end of the month that you're welcome to attend as well. All right, so any other questions, any questions at all? Let's see, Terry just has a compliment. She says, thank you so much, very informative. You are very welcome, Terry. Thank you for taking time out of your day to be here. JP also has a compliment. He said it was a great webinar. Sandy says, thank you. I was just researching this for my education moment. Hey, Sandy, I've got a tip for you if you're the education coordinator. I have an education moment for you already written out based on this. I actually have a whole year's worth of monthly education moments. Take a look, go and click on this question mark, right? That will take you over to the support site. When you get over to the support site, take a look through all of the stuff here. So for example, there's help documents on everything. For example, how to email a visitor invitation. That makes for a great education moment. There's a short video in there, or you can use the step-by-step processes for exactly how to send it out, what it looks like, and what it does. But if you scroll down a little bit and get to the public forums, there's a whole series of BNI Connect education moments here. And for example, this one happens to be build your network. You can do build your network, join a group, or create a group, and that will allow you to, there's a video, a short 3-minute video. There's also a Word document or PDF file in here that has basically a lot of what we talked about today in bullet points and what to say and what to do and suggestions for the presentation and guides and walkthroughs, and there's a podcast associated with it. So lots of information there for you. And there's a whole year's worth of monthly BNI Connect documents in there. So hopefully that helps you out, Sandy. And Sandy, if you shoot me an email separately, I do send out a monthly email newsletter with those education moments. So if you'd like to be part of that list, if you're an education coordinator officially for a chapter, then you will already be on that list. If not, feel free to shoot me an email and I can manually add you to the education coordinator email blast. So JP, if you'd like to get on that list, again, just shoot me an email, support@bniconnect.com, and I'm happy to stick you on that monthly newsletter for education moments. Cool. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? All right. If not, I look forward to seeing you all on a future webinar. And thank you again so much for being here today. Happy connecting.